Justice delayed is justice denied. For 5 years, 14th of February, made 5 years since the Gabu massacre was committed by members of the Defense and Security Forces. When the massacre occurred 5 years ago, fingers were pointing at government forces, but government surrogates were quick to say that the massacre was not done by government forces. In fact, 5 years ago, we had 3 communiques that came out just within 24 hours after the innocent children and some adults were killed in Gabu and the Ndonga Mountain Division as a result of the ongoing Anglophone crisis. Communique 1 came from the CPDM, where it was said that the people who carried out the massacre was not members of Defense and Security Forces. The attack was blamed on separatists. Communique 2, the Ministry of Communication also released a communique just within the shortest period of time, distancing the Defense and Security Forces as concerned the massacre. Communique 3 came from the Territorial Administration, where fingers were pointed at separatists and accusation to have been the ones who carried out the Gabu massacre. As pressure mounted, eyewitness accounts became clear with evidences that it was done by Defense and Security Forces. After a while, a head of state actually formed a commission to look into the Gabu situation and to address the Gabu massacre. The commission that was created actually faulted Defense and Security Forces and said they are responsible. And of course, within no time, the government, agencies that have rejected the accusation that it was done by Defense and Security Forces immediately came and said, oh, we have those who committed the crime. They are Defense and Security Forces. They will be judged and they will be sentenced according to the law, because no one is supposed to be below the law and no one is supposed to be above the law, and no one is less of a Cameroonian than another. We had applauded this initiative and many had clapped and said justice will finally be served, because if that is done, other cases which has gone unnoticed, like the case of Wazizi and many more, will be also follow suit. However, we are counting 5 years after the Gabu massacre. The voice of the innocent children are crying in the wilderness, asking one simple question: were we less of a Cameroonians than others? The voice of the mothers, fathers, and who have lost their children, who had cried and had been given the hope and aspiration that justice will never be delayed and justice will never be denied. In their quiet moment, they weep and cry, "O Cameroon, cradle of our fathers, thy holy shall reign in our midst the nary post." Is this the holy that is reigning in our midst the nary post? When the voice of our children are crying in our dreams, asking for one simple question: when shall we have justice? Justice delayed is justice denied, as it is in the case of law. When you go to law, when you go before the law, you must go with clean hands. How clean are the hands of the people who are denying justice? Is it that many more names were supposed to be given? The case update is rarely given to Cameroonians to know that this is the situation of the case. As the case is, this is not just the first issue that has been occurring in Cameroon. Another case in hand is the Mother Francisca massacre in Kumba, where as we speak till date, we have not known the situation of the case about some people who were arrested, purportedly the principal and some others who were arrested. And the investigation to that matter is still yet to be determined. Baby Mata that was killed in Makangai Muyuka. We have a great number of these issues, plethora of issues that have occurred within the ambit of the Anglophone crisis. Do you want me to talk about the Wazizi crisis as compared to the situation that we are faced into? Wazizi has not been buried. His corpse has not been handed, despite government acclaiming that Wazizi died of sepsis. However, when shall we have justice? 5 years on, Gabu massacre is ongoing. This investigation and the case is ongoing, but very little has been made known to the public. Are some people more of a Cameroonians than others? At the end of the day, as one of my professors, Kingsley Longalangange, in the Department of Journalism once said, the lunatic may be few, but they own the place. However, this time, 2025 is on. The voice of the unforgotten people, or the voice of the forgotten people, I hopefully in October will be forgotten no more. This is House of Commons with me, Tah Mai Javis. Happy Sunday to all those of you who just joining us. I want to thank all those of you who took out time on the 11th of February to wish me happy birthday. And my birthday celebration is still ongoing. So thank you very much. All those of you who wish me happy birthday. All those of you who celebrated your birthday. And above all, to our youths who are above 80 years, happy birthday to you and happy youth day and happy youth week to you all. We know that we are still the future of tomorrow. Even though we are of the age, we are still the future leaders. We hope and we pray that one day we shall have that opportunity. I want to wish happy birthday to you, my dear friend, who is celebrating the birthday this week. It is the Princess of Edinburgh. Efiti, happy birthday to you, Efiti. May the good God continue to guide and protect you, Princess of Edinburgh. With your smile and gestures, happy birthday to you. Also, Ghislaine, who is celebrating your birthday, happy birthday to you, Ghislaine, my very, very good friend. Happy birthday to you, dear. May God continue to guide and protect you. Happy Sunday. Here in the studio, we are joined by a very charismatic leader who has announced his candidacy to run for the 2025 presidential election, which will be scheduled hopefully in October, all things being equal. He is someone that believes in the respect of the rule of law and someone that believes that justice must not just be done, but must be seen to have been done, and that he also holds the view that Cameroon can emanate and Cameroon can develop if Cameroonians come together and do the needful and keep aside partisan politics, nepotism, regionalism, and focus on that which must be done within the lens of the 21st century, not the lens of the 18th century, when many will say, as it was in the beginning, so shall it be. He's a pragmatic person, believes in positive change, and also very believe in feedback. He believes that feedback play a great role in shaping leadership, and that if you have a view, air it and give feedback and take feedback positively. And he is going in for the 2025 presidential election as an independent candidate. Barrister Dr. Asong Michael, happy Sunday. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Mr. Tah Mai Javis, for this privilege that you are awarded to me. I'm really, really honored to be on your program. I would like to seize this opportunity to greet all our viewers, and particularly the youths. I want to wish them a happy Youth Day in arrears and remind them that the Cameroon of tomorrow is us, and that we must take our responsibility at hand to assure proper and sustainable development for Cameroon.
Thank you very much. Also in the studio, we are joined by Yaya Emmanuel. He is also a junior parliamentarian and someone that believes in the fact that Cameroon must stay true to its constitutional value, that worth no tongue can tell. The worth no tongue can tell should be the worth of no to tribalism, no to corruption, no to regionalism, and of course shares the view of that of Dr. Asong, Barrister Michael. Happy Sunday, Yaya Emmanuel, and thanks for joining us from the Noni village.
Thank you, Mr. Tah Mai Javis, and I'm very happy to share the stage today with our future president of Cameroon, who is Dr. Barrister Asong. Again, before I delve into the issues of today, I would like to extend special greetings to the fund of land. Lassen is a village in Noni that was presented on Friday for Ngiti the 3rd. And again, the fund of Din Noni, who is on a regional tour. He's going around Cameroon, meeting Noni people wherever they are. Yesterday, he was in Bamenda. Ladies and gentlemen, today is another day for us to discuss Cameroon. As Dr. Ali said, the future of our youth, of the youth in Cameroon, is in their hands. And today we are going to be exemplifying some of those aspects that we need to take and the way forward.
Thank you very much. Also, we are joined by my colleague, Tita, who is here with us. He is someone also that is in the core of journalism and believe in the fact that leaders must be held accountable for their action, and they must stay true to their promises that are made, and also must be realistic in their respective field. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, Tah Mai Javis. Happy Sunday to the other panelists, and special happy Sunday to Dr. Asong, who made it here today. And it is a pleasure to share this platform today to you, and it will be an opportunity for me to pour out the various rhetorics sent out by various Cameroonians youth today to you. And a special happy Sunday to the million televiewers of My Media Prime TV. Stay glued, because today we are bringing the best.
And of course, Engineer Dixon, someone that's been able to supervise and train several professionals in the different universities across Cameroon and beyond. And he is someone that also believes in the fact that we must give the youth the opportunity to serve and must also hold them accountable in areas where they faltered and also help them grow in their respective specialty. Engineer Dixon is someone that also holds a firm view of the fact that we must develop our nation looking at the 21st century and procrastinate the 22nd century as other nations are procrastinating. He is a no-nonsense person and that believes in a firm conviction on the rule of law and that institutions must also be respected. Engineer Dixon, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, Mr. Javis, and happy Sunday, my fellow co-panelists, and happy Sunday to you, Dr. Asong. I think the courage it takes for you to take upon this decision is something we should admire, and I believe that this is the kind of Cameroon we want to see, where youths take upon themselves not just to watch change but to be actors of change themselves. So I have to say congratulations for that bold step. I pray that our ancestors see you through this political journey of yours. Happy Sunday to our televiewers, and again happy Youth Day to all the youths all over Cameroon. Don't give up. We are here once more to dissect the political landscape of our nation and to see the way forward. Thank you for having me, Mr. Javis.
Thank you very much. Also, maybe I just begin with you briefly before we welcome Mr. Kimbang Vitalis. You had one question to Dr. Barrister Asong.
Yeah, so many worries. I don't know, but I'm going to brief
one
them.
So that we
I am going to brief them. The first worry I will be having today for Barrister Asong will be how prepared is he? How prepared? Because we often see him only on social media, and so many people are worried. Is it that you are going to do your campaign only on social media? How far have you gone with your groundwork? And coming into Cameroon as a presidential candidate, Mr. Asong, I'm still worried. When I go through your social media platform, I see you say you believe in Jesus. What of Muslims? What of those who are traditionalists? You don't have their time, because that's already a sign that you are choosing side. You are president for Christians only. Does it mean that when you take over Cameroon, Muslims will have to flee away, or traditionalists will have to abandon the country? Those are some of the worries that we have. And also, the last time you came up, this is the last one. You came up and said you were going to look into fuel prices. You suggested the prices. I don't know. Have you gone and consulted a firm or an oil enterprise you will partner with to see that these prices are dropped? Because when bringing such proposals, you need to make sure that you have put in line a pipeline that will see into the adjustment of such things.
Yeah, thank you very much for those questions, and I believe they are very pertinent questions which Cameroonians usually ask. The first question you asked was about how prepared I am. What I would like to tell you is that I did not get up one morning to go in for presidency. I have actually been preparing to be president of Cameroon over 10 years. I think that I was, first of all, I did my training as a medical doctor, and in 2015 I decided to go back to school to do law, to change the life of certain people that marked my life. I am a Christian, as was earlier on said, and I believe in assisting people and serving people. I think that is the life that Jesus Christ called us to live, and due to that I realized that so many people were suffering: widows, orphans, their rights being violated, succession rights not being granted to widows. And that's what changed my mind, that what can I do for them? People don't have access to healthcare. What can I do for them? So I'm not a type of person who sits down and look at people suffer. One of the things I detest in my life is to see people suffer. I do my best. I'm ready to sacrifice myself to help them. So that was my courage. That was what motivated me to go back to school. And I can assure you it was not something easy to go back, sit on the benches, being already a medical doctor, 7 years of training, having teachers might be who don't even have your level, talk to you anyhow. But when you know that you have an objective to attain, you focus on it and you move forward. So I've been preparing over 10 years, and I have a program, I have a strategy. And according to our electoral code, this is what I realized that many Cameroonians don't know, is that campaign is only authorized 15 days before the elections, according to Article 87. So it says that 15 days before elections, candidates are permitted to provide flyers, to provide manifestos. So campaign is only 15 days before elections, and I, for one, as a lawyer, I took the oath to respect the constitution and the national laws. I will not be intimidated by what other people are doing on the field, violating the rule of law. If I want to be a president, then I want to be that type of president who will respect the rule of law, because that's one of the issues we have today with our leadership. So according to my program, this particular period, I term it the pre-electoral phase. And in the pre-electoral phase, we have just one objective. Our objective is to tell people to go and register, to educate people on the electoral process. And that's why today I'll be starting a program called the electoral process, a conference on it. So the main aim is to educate the population and tell them that the only way we can bring change is through a democratic process, and that each and every citizen has a voting right. This voting right is a constitutional right, is a civic duty, and it's also a human right. So expressing your vote is part of you expressing your power to determine and to participate in the governance of our country. So I'm more focused on that, and that's why I'm not doing any groundwork. That's why I'm using the social media, which is one of the most powerful tools today. If people in Cameroon know me, if people are talking about me in the streets, it's through the social media, it's through bloggers, it's through influencers that I want to seize the opportunity to thank them for the incredible work they are doing on social media to lift up my candidacy, because certainly without them, I wouldn't have been known the way I am known today. So just to say that in my strategy, this particular period is a pre-electoral period. I'm more focused on social media because I'm not allowed to do ground and public manifestations. So why not use a tool which is more accessible to me? I think even if I have to do groundwork, we are over 475,000 square kilometers. I can't reach everywhere, but on social media we have over 10 million users, and of course we can certainly get to about 7 million potential voters on social media. So why not make use of that platform that will permit me to reach most Cameroonians without any stress? You have to also know that I am a new type of candidate. I'm a very young candidate, and people have so many opinions about my personality. Some people say, no, I'm getting into politics to look for money. I'm getting into politics to have my own position or have a part in the national cake. I'm getting into politics to, I don't know, to make myself known. So I have to be very smart. So by doing that, my goal is not to make people feel I'm here to look for money. So I'm using my own means, and that's why I must use a very cost-effective means, which is the social media. So a month I just have to spend 70 or 80,000 for that. It's reasonable. With the professions I have, I can at least generate 80,000 to be able to manage my social media activities. So it's all, those are all the things that are actually that guide my strategy during this period. So I hope I've answered your first question. The second question you asked was related to my faith as a Christian. What I first of all like to let you know is that there has been no conflict between Christians and Muslims in Cameroon. I strongly believe that the right to believe, faith and religion is a constitutional right. It's provided in our preamble, the 1972 Constitution and amendments of 1996 and 2008. It's also a human right. And in Cameroon, we have never seen any issue between Christians and Muslims. I even like to tell you that my grandmom is a Muslim. She originates from Tibati. She's an Hausa, because my mom, her mother, my grandmom is an Hausa, and her dad, my grandfather, is Basa. So my grandmom lives with me. She loves me so much. I love her so much, and we have no problems. She even considers me to be one of her best grandchildren because I'm always present to assist her in everything that she needs. So we have never had such an issue. Christianity and Islam has never had a conflict in Cameroon. I've been organizing free health campaigns in quarters like New Bell, where I get to consult Muslims, and they come for the campaign, and I treat them for free. I respect their religion. I can ask them, can I talk to you about Jesus? If they say no, of course I respect it because it's a constitutional right. So just to say that everybody has a right to believe. And you must also know that today we have a problem in Cameroon, is that when you look at our leaders today, you always ask the question, where do they stand? What do they believe in? It's very important. Today we know about the Freemasons. We know about occultic groups in the world that are governing the world. So that is why we see the propagation of things like homosexuality, because those are occultic, those are satanic practices. That is why today we can see favoritism, we can see tribalism having more roots and more grounds. We can see lobbying having more grounds, because today they are forcing youths to join cults to be able to have access to certain posts, to have access to certain professions. Those are things I want to put an end to, and the only way I can put an end to is to stand on what is being recognized by everybody as okay. If you believe in Jesus Christ, it's okay, because when we look at the life of those who practice Christianity or practice Islam, you realize that there are certain basic characteristics that even that find themselves in the two types of religions. Not to even say that the two religions consider Abraham as the father of faith.
And also Jesus is in the Quran, man.
And also Jesus is in the Quran. So it's just to explain to Cameroonians where I stand, because so many people ask me sometimes the question that, are you in a cult? Do you think you can be the president of Cameroon if you are not a Freemason, if you are not in Amok and all the like? I said, of course you can be a president in Cameroon without belonging to all those cults that are putting us into very difficult situations, encouraging bad governance, encouraging discrimination, marginalization, bringing us leaders that are extremely proud of themselves, who don't even care about the citizens, because those cults, that is what they teach you there. They teach you there that when you are there, you are greater than everybody, you are bigger than everybody. So I'm coming to change that. I am a simple leader. I believe in Christ. Christ was a simple person.
So you are bringing in empathy?
Of course, empathy, simplicity, humbleness, being close to the population, dialogue with the population, listening to the population, because I don't know everything. I can't know everything. But I strongly believe that if I work with the population, then it will be possible. Okay. That's why I'm encouraging a governance by the people and for the people. So it is participative, because we all together have to work hand in hand to build this this country. I think the last question
was on fuel. We'll come back.
Yeah, we'll come back on that. Okay, all right.
We'll come to gentlemen, just yesterday there was an issue in the northern part of Cameroon where the Ferdinand Gongo, the Secretary General of the Presidency, went to the northern part, and he was actually confronted by some northern leaders who begged for an audience, begged to see an audience. They actually grounded him to listen to their problem. And the question we're asking is, if for 41 years, these issues have not been, 42 years, issues have not been resolved in the north with difficult conditions, is it now that these persons will listen? Let's have what happened in the north, and now we'll have your reactions.
C'est quoi ça? Nos frères sont en train de mourir en brûle. Et il est qui? Il est qui? Il est qui? Il envoie tous les chefs de l'État. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Tous les maires, tout le maire, tout le maire. Ce n'est pas votre problème. Nous sommes on ne peut pas on a préparé l'audience, le plan de travail. Maintenant là, vous dites que vous ne nous recevez pas. Nous là, voilà tous. Si vous ne nous recevez pas, on va démissionner. Tous on va laisser les partis là. Comment?
That was what happened yesterday in the north. His representative of the head of state, Ferdinand Gongo. I'll begin with you, Mr. Yaye. Maybe I'll start with you, Mr. Yaye. Your reaction.
What is happening, or what does happen in the north, is just an eyes of a feedback of what we have in Cameroon. I would take us back to history. When the President Biya went to Bamenda in 2010,
for the ministry anniversary.
Yes, there were a group of persons who came out and declared that the right people President Biya were supposed to meet, he did not meet them, and we have the consequences that happened in 2016. And what happened to those people who attempted raising their voices? They were all locked up. So it is not today. Cameroonians have had it here. It is here everywhere. It is here. In the north, 3 cabinet ministers, Minat, Monuna Foso, and Ferdinand Gongo, they were there. And they could not listen to the population. It is everywhere. In 2014, the same thing happened in Boya during the anniversary. There are people that when the president goes somewhere, they don't want to listen to the actual people who are facing the problem. They want to come and we want to do this. They want to assume.
They listen better to their own delegation from Yaoundé.
Yeah, you cannot leave Yaoundé and go there like what happened in 2010. Biya will leave Yaoundé, go to Bamenda. Those people who are in Yaoundé with him will come still be the one he is receiving in Bamenda. It is not happening, and that is the problem we have in Cameroon. It is actually a problem that, like you said, for 42 years and more. I even look at it for more than because he knows the Cameroon problem right from when he was the director of the civil cabinet in 1966. So he knows the Cameroon problem for more than 50 years today. And why are we still having this from the same person? It is a question we should ask ourselves, and that is why I keep on saying, Cameroon, it is either we deserve the particular leader we want, we need, or we have been hypnotized. What is happening? Look at what happened in North. That a particular thing, the people are crying. What is there, Ferdinand Gongo? First of all, he traveled by air. The route from Gaoundere to Marwa to Garua, it is actually unpassable. I have a friend who just left. She's still on the way. Kabali even had an accident. Minat, how did he survive? We don't know. And that's why the people are saying that, okay, you have to live where you are, travel on a car, use your Highlander to go there, and he was refusing. He refused to do that because the people themselves, they are very lucky. They are very happy. Those are the most, how do I put it? Those people in the north, they showed the highest temperament we have never seen in Cameroon. That they are actually coming out, that please listen to us begging. Cameroonians are begging for the national cake. We have a problem, and this problem, it needs to be solved. The other thing is that the various petitions we have been writing, Cameroon, all over, everywhere, they have never been reaching Biya. If all of those petitions, demands, applications, every other thing, if it has been reaching Biya, if it has gone to the table, his table, we would have been very far. It goes to say, Biya has colleagues who are not telling him the truth. During his New Year's Youth Day speech, he presented an issue concerning somebody, one Obam. People have gone down to see that what the president said, what they gave him to read, is not actually real. Who is to be blamed? Which means that the president has colleagues who are bent on feeding him with lies. They don't go down to look for information.
So you are saying that the president was scammed?
It is very obvious. Look at what is happening in North.
No. Are you saying the president was scammed?
I did not say the president was scammed. He was simply misled.
Okay, are you saying the president was misled?
I am saying that he was misled because he wasn't told the truth by his own colleagues. So please, we should get it tight. Okay, if not, why should Ferdinand Gongo, the respectable man, will say the man in charge of high instructions?
Monsieur le Président.
I did not call him Monsieur le President. He's the Secretary of State. He is the representative, not the head of state. At that moment, he was the head of state. And there. Why should he go to listen to local? And that's why he equally brought in something we are simply ignoring. The principle or the effective decentralization that we are preaching isn't being respected. It's being tight-handled by the very people who are preaching it. If you go to the north, you don't have to see Monona Foso or Mina who is there with you in Yaoundé. Listen to those local representatives, the mayors, the regional councillors, the parliamentarians, because they are the one living.
You see the parliamentarians, I didn't know constantly in Yaoundé.
I said the parliamentarians who are in the north, if they are in Yaoundé, then I don't have to say, but I cannot see you go there. So, dear Cameroonians,
okay,
we have had a lot of these things.
Okay.
We have it that the president of the republic hasn't been told the truth that we have been sending.
Briefly.
And it's everywhere. It is something all around Cameroon.
Briefly.
Thank you.
I will come to Mr. Kimbang. I want the presidential aspirant to react briefly on this before I come to you, guys, about this issue in the north. You are aspiring to become the president. When you look at this issue, when you watch that image, what comes to your mind?
Well, for me, it's just the end of a cycle. It's just the end of a regime. You know, when you have been in power for 42 years, it's a lot of monotony. And of course, monotony leads to laxity. Monotony leads to bad governance. Monotony leads to problems automatically. Because for us to be able to grow, we need new blood. We need new ideas. We need new people who will work under the pressure of having just 2 mandates. Like, for example, I propose the mandate to be revised from 7 years to 4 years, renewable ones. So if you get into power, you know that you have the pressure to do something and to leave your mark. Unfortunately, that's not what we have been seeing today. And
that it is 2 mandates.
Of course, I'm saying it's 2 mandates.
If you become president.
Of course, it's just 2 and 4 years.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So, of course, keep it.
I heard that's why I asked.
Of course,
Sure
it should be working. Yeah, yeah. So this just goes to for me, I think it's like a punishment to the northern regions, because you know the northern regions are the regions that have given their support most to this regime. And despite the fact that this regime has been a regime that has brought a lot of misery to the population, they have still been supporting it, because I don't think the misery of Cameroon started today. It started 30, 40 years ago, because from what our parents told us, there was a devaluation, I think in the 84s, something like that, in the 90s. Some of us maybe were just 1 year, 2 years, or not even born. And there were already signs that things are not going to be good for the future. But yet, we kept on seeing citizens, Cameroonian citizens from the northern part of Cameroon give their support. You know, the northern regions of Cameroon are the most underdeveloped regions in Cameroon. And there are places where there is no water. There are places where there are no schools, no infrastructure. There are places where there are no hospitals to take care.
Talk to them now, what will you say?
There are places where there is so much heat because they have not taken into consideration environmental issues by planting trees. So this is what I have to say. You can't keep on trusting something that has been failing and failing all over and all over again. At the moment, you must recognize that the whole regime actually is a sham. Pobia himself, he's old. I think he has done what he could do. It's not easy to be a leader. It's time for us to look elsewhere. It's time for us to look forward, to look for that candidate that understands the problems of Cameroonians, understands the problems of those in the northern regions. Because if you don't have that type of candidate, then of course, how would development come into place? I, for one of my strategies in development is to make sure that there is equity, there is developmental equity amongst all the regions in Cameroon. And that's why I'm talking about communism, because communism is that political philosophy where the government manages all the resources and production chains and makes sure that every Cameroonian receives an equal share of the riches of the nation. And that's why, to create that balance, I'm going to focus a lot on the northern regions because they have been left behind. So I don't know if the support they are going to be here today, I don't know on which grounds they are giving it, but I think that it's time for them to open their eyes. It's time for them to realize that they have been left behind and that they have to look for a new leader that wants to see into their problem and make sure that their quality of life is being ameliorated.
Okay, I will come back to you. You have this. It's your party, eh? Your party members. We saw them with the fabric. The CPTM party. We saw them in the fabric. And I want to ask a question. When you watch that, Mr. Kimba, should people be begging to meet leaders to just complain? After 42 years, they have been complaining.
Yes,
Will there something change now?
The Tah Mai Javis, I've always said that if we don't have a change of mentality in Cameroon, if we don't have love for each other, nothing is going to work. When you see Ferdinand Gongo going to the north and people are begging to see him, it's because the elite in the north that failed the northerners. That's why the elite in the north will not want the population to meet him, because when the population meets him, the truth will come out. So they will do everything possible to make sure that the population don't meet him. And that is the problem we have in Cameroon. This morning we are talking about in Cameroon political forum. We are talking about my constituency because I think my constituency should be one of the best constituencies in Cameroon. Yes, we go to Cameroon and see what is happening. I don't think that if Ferdinand Gongo wants to go to Cameroon, we'll go and block him so that he's not meet the population. But when he goes there, he will see the reality on the ground. So the population is happy, everybody's seeing development, and everything is happening well. So the problem has not been President Paul Biya per se. The problem has been the people who have been empowered to carry out certain functions, and they have failed to do them. Because of what? Why? Because they are wicked. Because if you vote somebody as a parliamentarian and he goes to the parliament and you don't feel the impact of voting that person, then what's the need of voting that person? I also blame people who choose the voters. Because in each and every society, or each division, or each village, we know those who can deliver. But when elections are coming like this, what happens? Those who have money will come with bags of rice, share drinks, and you will forget that you have to suffer for 7 years, and you will choose them. And when you choose them, you are forced to live with what you choose. So my advice has always been that people should register massively and vote the person that they want him to govern them. Because at the end of it all, like we said here, we have more than almost 30 million Cameroonians. Don't be surprised that maybe in October, 4 million people will be voting to decide for the rest of the 27 million people. Which make African politics now a very complex situation. Yes, because at the end, just a handful of people will choose for the majority. And when we use this tag that majority carry the vote, it's not the majority, because majority did not vote. You see now? Yeah, it's not the majority, because majority did not vote. So I think that people have to do their work with conscience. Let me give you something that happened, a minor something that happened. I was working with Nduti some years back, owned by this Dawara. When Dawara was to come to the tea estate for a visit, there are some leaders, those who call themselves sub-directors, who refused that he was not going to meet the people. Why? Because we know the truth. And so there was almost a fight. So that is the same thing that's happening in the north.
Happening in the north.
Yes. The big wigs in the north who have been coming to Yaoundé and picking and going back and telling Yaoundé that no, everything is fine in the north.
Because they are cashing out.
Yes. They don't want that Ferdinand Gongo should know what is happening. That's why they are blocking him. And most of the times you seem to blame the central government. But when you look at it, you come from a village where there's no road. I don't know your village. And you come to Yaoundé and tell the president that no, everything is fine in my village. The roads are fine, everything is fine. Who do we blame here?
But Mr. Kimbang, very briefly, after I move to him, and you were asking who do we blame here? Is it not the person who is supposed to be moving across the nation at least every year? Or the person who comes and tells everything is fine? You are in a company.
Yes.
Is there not an evaluation mechanism where you say that I asked you to go and do this, have you delivered a letter like companies? When they give you a letter, there's what they call the dispatch. The dispatch is signed by the receiver to show that, okay, they actually receive. If you can't say, yeah, I give the letter, and say, fine, without a dispatch, how am I sure you actually took a letter?
Let me
Since 2018, the president has not been moving. If he was actually moving, he would have probably seen that they're not. This time.
Let's forget 2018. We have projects that have been awarded to people. And people have been sent to your to come and supervise those projects. And when they come from anywhere, despite those projects are not being done, and they are giving money to sign that the project has been done, and they take the document behind it. You will not expect that President Paul Biya to stand in each and every office with a whip before people can do their work.
For example, the issue of road.
Yes.
If Le Père de la Police had not moved to Boya, to Mutengene, through the road, he wouldn't have complained about the road.
Very good.
But they are probably...
They are properly documenting the foundation that the road is excellent.
That's why we're saying that.
Yes.
If your chairman
that's why I'm saying that
had been moving,
people it must not be the chairman moving. The people who have been assigned to do it, if they are doing it with love,
okay,
if they are doing it with conscience, they will be able to give a clear report of what's right. Dr. Ye will become a president tomorrow. Yes. Doctor, I don't think that you will be moving from office to office with a whip. You assign people. You assign people to do the work.
I'm creating a new ministry.
And you assign people who do the work, and you will trust them.
My telephone number is open to everybody.
Yeah,
they all have my telephone number. You write to me, like I might not reply on time. But there are days I take a whole day, I just go. So all the messages I go through everything.
No, I can testify that you reply because I wrote to you.
Yes. No, so
we are not even established contact at the time you reply.
Yeah, so it's just
on Facebook, social media. He replies.
Yeah, so it's just to say that we have a governance system today where our leaders are not close to the population, and that's what I want to bring in, because you must be close to the population. It's true you cannot be everywhere, but put your contact available to everybody. People will write to you. Like, for example, a few days ago, there is this person that wrote to me from the Bioko Island. The Bioko Island is one of those islands that are next to Equatorial Guinea, Malabo. And he was telling me that they are facing a lot of discrimination and marginalization. And he told me that Aijo was aware of that, and that he hopes that if I'm president, I'll see into that case. And of course, that's good going through your messages, because you might see one or two things that will call your attention and would actually make you understand that you going in as a president or for presidency is not all just about Cameroon. There are foreign affairs. There are other people who are also looking up to you. Africa is looking up to you. Like, I'm seeing so many youths in Burkina Faso, Uganda talking about me. So it's more of that. Leaders will have to learn to be close, and I think to resolve that issue of us realizing that things have not been done on field, there will be the creation of a new ministry for control and auditing.
Almost like what Trump is doing, of government efficiency.
Okay, exactly. And the role will be that there will be reports every hour and every day. We don't want to find situations where we give you a contract and we are coming to check after 1 week. So we are going to do some sort of micro control for micromanagement, where each day we know if you have accomplished the task of that day.
Will so it be open to the public? The reporting will be open to the public to judge, to see?
Of course, it will be open to the public, and those are one of the things we'll be doing, and we'll also use the population as control. Because as I said, if our numbers are open to everybody, so somebody in a particular village can say that no, these guys who are working here, they're not doing their job well, they are not working well, they spend their whole time drinking and the rest, and at least you have that information, open investigation, or call the attention of those who are in charge.
Doctor, I just wish that your cabinet should be as honest as you, because you might be very honest.
Of course,
the people that you are going to work with, they might not be as honest.
No. Look at this. What I've planned. I've planned to do. First of all, I have no cabinet. I have no premeditated cabinet. My cabinet will be based on evaluation and exams. So if I have for Minister of Health, you bring your documents. Those who feel that they are capable and they have the competence to be Minister of Health, you bring your documents. I'm going to evaluate you. So it will not be something based on my friend who I'm putting there, who we can say that no, Michael is my friend, he's not going to do anything to me. No, if you merit it, I'm giving you the job, and I'm telling you, you're serving the population. You make an error, you're out.
So at that approach.
Exactly. Perfect.
Okay, Dixon, were you expecting that reaction from Gongo? You have always been a prophet on this panel.
I can say boldly, Mr. Javis, that the leadership is of a nation is a reflection of the way the people of that nation think. I think that the leadership that we have now was never imposed. Cameroonians like us concerted together to put up the leadership for the nation. But like I witnessed what is happening in the north, believe me, I made a statement one time here that it's only in Africa where the politicians are the stars, not the people.
Yeah.
I even gave an example that when you go to Europe, you ask that who is the Minister of Agriculture, nobody will tell you. Who is the Minister of Culture? Nobody will tell you. But when you come to Africa, you get the reverse. When they are moving on the streets, you know that the minister is moving.
Son excellence.
Yeah. So these same people that are doing this here in Africa, when they go to Europe, nobody cares about them. The way they are being protected and guided here in Africa, when they're in Europe, they walk like you, the way you and I walk into the market and out. People don't even know who they are. You will not believe. But when they come here, the way they glorify themselves, and because I'm saying all of this, because if I was in the position of a Nangongo and I just get a whisper that the people want to see you, I break the protocol. Because that's what shows that you are having the willingness to listen to the people. All he needed to do was just to tell all the bureaucrats, because all what was happening around him at that time was bureaucracy, where people have different agendas. You can't meet the Secretary General, you can. But you are there to serve these same people. And like you rightly said, I've been in the north. The north is a spectacular region for the regime. And they have always been in support of this regime. That's why you see all of them coming out in their uniform, or the party uniform. So they were not coming out as strangers, they were coming out as loyalists.
Even in their revendication, you were hearing women behind.
Voila. So they were coming out as loyalists to the party. So they were not just coming as hooligans.
Okay.
So they were soliciting something which to me was their fundamental right. I can't say I'm a leader of a party and the partisans are crying that, oh, we want to see our leader, and I will not grant them audience. So I think, Mr. Javis, that situation needs to be addressed. I believe that the Secretary General should do something and at least make the people feel belonging.
Okay, let me take on some messages, Doctor. Most messages I receive here, a lot of people have been sending messages and they're happy seeing you and listening to you. But we have a lot of messages coming in. This one says, the current regime has failed the youth, prioritizing personal interest over national progress. Unlike other African nations where young people drive change, Cameroon leadership suppresses innovation. However, real change comes through the ballot box, not violence. Youth must take their future into their hands by registering, getting their voters card, and making their voices count. Boycotting election only strengthens the failed system. Now is the time to act, and the demand for accountability through the power of the vote. Asong Michael stands as our hope for a better future. He represents the leadership and the vision we need. Let's rally behind him, support his cause, and work together, bring real change for Cameroon. Brandon, writing from Boya. Brandon, this is Brandon Same. Sorry if I don't pronounce that name right.
Thank you, Brandon.
This other one, it says, afternoon to you people in the studio. Doctor, we need your number so that we can engage into campaign in the West region. Some people don't even have television to hear your promises. Tatono Zuki, writing from the West region. Should I send the number?
Yeah, you can send it. Tell him that it's on all social media platforms. My Facebook, my number is there. They can reach me through the number or through Messenger or WhatsApp. Any will do.
I have sent Doctor's Barrister's number to you. This other one, right, it says, happy birthday to you, many wins. Thank you very much. This is my very good sister, who is Montana. It says, Lisa Montana says, good afternoon, Tah Mai, the panelists. It has been said for someone to be an independent candidate, or he or she has to get the signature of all traditional and Cameroon. How true is this statement, please? Of course, doctor will tell you in the course of that, because you need some sensitive signatures. We'll ask a question about that. Yeah. Maybe we'll get that already. This was it. I am Tanjong from Womb. Mr. Osi should know that this is not an issue of 50 million, but winning the election. The Anglophone, okay, this one says, Javis, I am Tamanjong, please. The young man who says he wants to be president of Cameroon, does he has what it takes to campaign and to be the president of Cameroon? That's a question. I'm sure, Doctor, you will know that. This other one says, good afternoon. I am writing from Campbell, Donga Mantum Division of the Northwest Region of Cameroon. Program is very interesting, especially our new and young candidate has enlightened, especially us, the Muslims. So they are happy with you that you have enlightened them, especially the Muslims. This is someone writing from Donga and Mantum Division. Hello, brilliant minds. To my Boya brother Javis, when I watch this video, I see political advantage for the opposition in the north. I see people fed up with the present regime and ready to vote for change, or meaningful change. But if the opposition is not serious, come as an opposition, there will not be change. Bodwin writing from Boya. This one says, good afternoon, Mr. Tah Mai Javis and co. What a great show today with rich cream of panelists today. Dr. Barrister Asong is a kind of candidate we are eager to see on the stage this 2025. Please, can I have his contact? Clifford Aminkam writing from Kumba. Clifford Aminkam, Dr. Barrister says I should give the number. So you have the number now in your inbox. I've sent you the number. This other one says, writing from Yaoundé, the same attitude that the Secretary General portrayed in the north is the same attitude Philemon Yang portrayed in Bamenda at the beginning of the Anglophone crisis. Ngi Loom had to tell him if he wasn't interested in addressing the issue at hand, he should go back to Yaoundé. Writing from Yaoundé. I remember the lady who said, you call a whole lawyer, come on, how, in what way? That's the lady you're talking to, Loom. Come on, in what way? Okay, now I remember. Good afternoon, Mr. Javis. I want to ask the presidential candidate what are his strategies to confront the almighty CPDM and the name of his party, Rudolph, writing from Yaoundé. This one says, good afternoon, Javis. Procedure for independent candidate to stand for presidential election in Cameroon, considering the fact that even those parties still find it difficult to succeed. Gala writing, or the same question that had been asked. This one says, good afternoon, Mr. Javis, great mind in the studio. I must say I admire the boldness of some journalists like you, Lasha Kingsley, Babila Jonathan, and many more. According to the factual reporting, may good God continue to guide and protect you all. Finally succeed in building up our beloved nation. Talking about coalition, it is the only move to achieve our goal, but I think can make this coalition work is by all the political opposition parties called a national conference for all opposition leaders come together, summon their manifesto, then elect candidate who will champion the presidential election based on the prolongation of the constitutional reform, a transformational government after a mandate. It says also, happy birthday to you, Valentine, writing from this one says, good afternoon, brother. I salute you on still. Many will always come up in the people and preach good and blended words, like the candidate is preaching philanthropic and Jesus Christ's word, making himself to know by people like he is the one who will always fear God and treat people just same as the president was. When he came to power, look up to him. Ella writing from Limbe. I think this other one, right, he says, good afternoon, Emmanuel, writing from Boya. I wish to ask in which political party doctor is in, and please for his number. A lot of messages. I may not have time to read all your messages today because of time constraint, but I will reply. Those of you asking for doctor's number, I will reply because you have to give us time to get to doctor. I think all of us have spoken about that. Let me ask doctor some few questions. Doctor, what is your position on the Anglophone crisis?
Of course, the Anglophone crisis is one of those major problems we have today in Cameroon. I will even say is the first. I declared my intentions to participate in the 2025 elections in the month of January 2024. And those who read through my declaration, you're going to realize that when I was listing the major issues that actually destabilizes our country today, I mentioned that the Anglophone crisis was the first problem to be resolved. So I strongly believe that today in Cameroon we have issues of identity. We have an identity crisis, and we cannot build a nation if the two people that formed the nation don't agree. Divided we fall, but united we stand. So of course it therefore means that for us to foster development in Cameroon, the Anglophone crisis must be resolved. You will not imagine the economic consequences of the Anglophone crisis. Look at a town like Kumba that today has been left backwards because before the Anglophone crisis it was booming. Look at Bamenda. Bamenda was extraordinary. I remember when I used to work in Oyumojok, I used to pass through Bamenda, then Bamenda to Manfe, Oyumojok. But even though I'd schooled in Sacred Heart, but I came back through that part 10 years, 15 years after, and Bamenda was really doing well. But look at what the crisis has done to it. Look at how it has affected businesses. Look at how it has affected education.
Even in Douala, rent has skyrocketed.
Of course, because they are internally displaced people. So thousands have been displaced to the Francophone regions, and we have other refugees in Nigeria. Look at the number of people that have been killed, the violence. All of these things are actually issues which must be resolved, because when a Cameroonian is hurt, is the whole country as a nation who is being hurt. So if an Anglophone is being hurt, then is the whole country that has been hurt. So of course, the Anglophone crisis is a primary issue and is the first issue I'm going to resolve. And of course, to resolve such an issue, which I would categorize as an international conflict, because when you look at the origin of the Anglophone crisis, you are going to realize that there are so many international elements into it. When it comes to the fact that the Southern Cameroons had to choose between joining Nigeria or the French Cameroon, and that some of these issues were being tabled at the UN, you understand that there is an international component to it. So resolving international conflicts is not something that is trivial, as the present government has taken it or has made it to look like. Of course, so if you want to resolve an international problem, then there must be a set procedure. It must be well organized, and to do that, I'm going to come up with a law. I'm going to come up with a law for the resolution of the Anglophone crisis, because there are several components which must be resolved in in resolving this or actually coming up with a dispute resolution for the Anglophone crisis. So what are we looking at? We are first of all looking at the history of Cameroon. The history of Cameroon. Has it been biased? Has it been poorly written? Has it been written by those who had power? So we have to look into that and explain to the population certain things that happen. The other day I had a dispute with so many Cameroonians on my social media platform when I said that on the 11th of February 1961 a referendum was being held in the southern Cameroon for them to make a choice to join the French Cameroon, and many people came and told me, oh, it's a plebiscite, it's not a referendum, you're not a serious guy, it's a plebiscite. I said, what is a plebiscite? What is a referendum? Now we must understand that the definition of a plebiscite is a general vote. It's a general vote which has been taken by the parliament, but which does not have an impact on the constitution of that particular state. Now a referendum is a general vote which is being taken but which has an impact on the constitution. Okay, so on the 1st of October 1960, Nigeria had its independence. On that very same day, there was a new constitution for the Southern Cameroons, which was called the Southern Cameroons Independence Day Constitution of the 1st of October 1960. Okay, now if we go now into the Montevideo Convention of 1933 that actually governs the existence of states, you will realize that in that convention there were 4 elements that characterize the existence of a state. So you have the government, You have the territory, you have the people, and you have the capacity to relate or get into relations with other nations. So you realize that Southern Cameroon at that time fulfilled all those criteria, even though it was not recognized as a state by the UN, but it was a state. And that is the reason why Paul Biya, while celebrating the 50th anniversary in Boya, said that Southern Cameroon was a state.
Yes, yes.
He said it. So, of course, if Southern Cameroon had a constitution and a vote was being taken, knowing fully well that that same year in 1961, on the 1st of October 1961, a federal state was being formed in Cameroon, where the Southern Cameroons and the French Cameroons became one, and they had a new constitution called the Federal Constitution of Cameroon, or the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Cameroon. So automatically it cancelled the Southern Cameroon's independence constitution.
Yes.
So due to the fact that that referendum had an impact on that constitution, or that vote had an impact on that constitution, makes that act a referendum and not a plebiscite. So you see, these are things that we don't know, and you cannot come on the bargaining table if you don't know that. So I want to make the
emotions.
Yes, people are moved by emotions. I want to make the process fair. I will not take part in it because I'm born of a parent who is an Anglophone and parents are Francophone. If it's only left to me, we should be united. I'm not going to take part in it. So I'll be out of it. The decisions will be taken by certain actors, and I'll first of all make sure that all political prisoners are liberated and separatist leaders are liberated through a presidential pardon. A presidential pardon does not mean that I'm violating the law. A presidential pardon means that I am granting them liberty, despite the fact that they might have committed one or two things. Because it's very important to mention that. The fact that we are disgruntled about certain issues does not mean that we should go to extremities. So we are trying to build a new nation, and we have to put in a different type of mindset to be able to construct it. So those are the foundations.
Correctly, for the people who are watching,
to
get these points clear. First, you are going to set up a commission, look into this Anglophone crisis.
Yeah, it's a whole law. No, it's a whole law.
They are going to establish.
So in the law, there are certain stages. So there will be a stage where they have to do situation analysis, talk about the history. So historians will have to come and tell people the history of Cameroon, because you cannot negotiate
without being muzzled by the state.
Yes, you understand. Tell the truth. Say that in 1972 the Foncha and the rest, they did not accept, but one person stayed behind to sign, and that is why he was being made president of the National Assembly, second personality in the country. Those are the things that we must tell the youths. We must teach the youths and teach every Cameroonian.
Number two.
So that's the first thing. The second thing, as I earlier said, everybody liberated. That means political prisoners.
All the political prisoners.
All political prisoners are freed. All separatist leaders are freed through presidential pardon. The next thing, we are going to apply Article 33 of the UN Charter of 1945, which actually encourages pacific dispute resolution mechanisms. We are going to choose mediation amongst their conciliation, arbitration, but you must know that with the conciliation and arbitration, the conciliator or the arbitrator takes a decision which he imposes. So I am looking at mediation. Mediation is that both parties come on the table with equal positions, in a way that one party is not coming as the big brother and the other person coming as a younger brother. As I earlier on stated, yes, Southern Cameroon was a state. So if we're considering that, then we must respect that historical fact. So everybody comes on the table as equal, and they are going to decide. We'll have a mediator, of course, who will be an international personality. We could use ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo, who did a great job with Uhuru Kenyatta in the resolution of the Tigray crisis.
Yes,
which to today at least we are hearing of some peace. So we could use them. If the other parties want that the mediation shouldn't take place in Cameroon, which I think it will not be interesting, because the goal is that people should come here and we resolve the issue together. So we'll have the mediation. After the mediation, we have the commemoration of a reconciliation. That is if the mediation goes well, and I believe that is going to go well. We'll have a reconciliation day where all Cameroonians from both sides will sit together and actually discuss and say sorry to one another and build a new Cameroon.
National reconciliation.
National reconciliation. Now, the next thing will be to resolve all the consequences that has been faced by those in the war. We have soldiers who died there. What is happening to their widows and their children? So we have to take care of them. Free education, free everything. We sponsor them. We have separatist fighters who have died and who have left family members, children. We have to do the same thing for them and their families. We have this destruction of property. We have to restore them. We have economic issues. We have to restore them. We have to build those loopholes which have been created by the crisis. Then when we are done with that, we'll come up now with a new procedure to make sure that the Anglophone crisis never repeats itself again. So respect of each other, putting in place a course just for that, to make sure that the next generation, the new generation that is coming in, the kids have proper knowledge of this type of issue, and that it should never happen again.
So because of time constraints, I'll move to other panel. In nutshell, which means that whether federalism, 2-state, 10-state, or confederation will be determined by
exactly
people based on the law that have established that people should decide what is best for them. Which means at this point in time, you are not taking a position to determine the people.
No.
But the people should be the one to determine how. So for summary, that you are going to free all arrested in connection with the crisis and all political.
First of all, laying down foundation of history.
Okay, you are going to create
laying down the foundation of history based on truth and not manipulation.
Come up with the law.
Of course, come up in the law. The whole law will have all of those components. The second thing, liberating all political prisoners. The third thing, mediation. The fourth thing, national reconciliation. The fifth thing, making sure that this thing is being taught to the younger generation. The sixth, making sure that all the consequences that were being faced and collateral damages are being resolved.
President, what we most African leaders, they might have very good intentions, but we always have colonial interference from So how are you going to free yourself from the French grip and the Western grip?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. According to the UN Charter of 1945, when we read Article 1, it states clearly that all states are independent. They have the right to self-determination, autonomy, and their own independence, and the question of non-interference of foreign states. So I'm going to say, I'm a barrister. I'm going to lay it bluntly to France, to England, that we have not had our independence since 1961. It has been a sham because we have been controlled, be economically, whether it be politically, militarily, in everything. And we today, we want to determine a new direction to our existence. So I'm using the simple law which they ignited to tell them that it's over, and this time we are getting our independence. I think it's just as simple as that. I think the issue sometimes we have in Africa is that we don't have knowledge of certain things. It's just like they granted you independence, but you don't know that you're independent. So the only way to fight the colonial master is to tell the colonial master that this law, you are the one that enacted it. You enacted it in the UN, and we are simply going to apply this. And that's why I'm coming to communism, because in communism, we have as plan to put an end to all colonial ties.
Liberal communism.
I'll call it the communism of Asong Michael. You know, communism is not giving liberal. They always say communism of Stalin or Mao Zedong. I'll call it the communism of Asong Michael.
If I get you correctly on this question I asked you, which means you are going to follow in the way of the president of Senegal, Diomaye Faye.
Of course, and why not Ibrahim Traoré? I think that's the best example.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's possible.
Now, briefly, I know we don't have time, but a lot of people have been asking questions. We don't have time. I know you address some of these questions on Prime Hour, because I have been told by my boss, Mr. Kumda, you will be. Yeah,
I'll be in the show tomorrow.
So those of you who may want to know more about Dr. Asong, a lot of you have been writing me, send his number. I've been sending you the numbers. Those who are watching on Facebook, they have been saying send his number. I will send you the number. Just write to me on WhatsApp. My number is on the screen. On the video you are watching, you see the number. There's my number. Doctor, many people are being worried about the issue of independency.
Okay.
How are you going to have your candidacy sealed if day look at the fact the laws, but you're a barrister, you understand these intricacies, and you know how we probably are going to get it.
Yeah, so the type of candidacy I chose was the independent candidacy, and the independent candidacy is provided by Article Section 121, subsection 2 of the Cameroon Electoral Code of 2012, which actually provides that a Cameroonian citizen age at least 35 years old can take part in the presidential elections if he is able to provide 300 signatures, 30 from each region, coming from certain personalities such as municipal councillors, regional councillors, senators, members of the National Assembly, first-class chiefs, and members of the Chambers of Trade and Commerce. So those are the 6 types of personalities that can provide signatures, and the law is clear. It is or. So it is not like you must have only from the chiefs.
Yes, that's what I was getting, and that's why a lot of people
of course, no, you must not. You can, for example, we have over 12,500 municipal councillors. So you can get your signatures only from them. So it's possible.
So now, which means that you can get some from the councillors, some can you add? Can you get some from the councillors, some from the Chamber of Commerce, some from the senators to add to the number of senators?
Of course. Any of them goes.
Okay. So
you can still get all from the councillors. Okay. So all depends on you.
So from your own prognostic, you are sure to get all the signatures?
Yeah, of course it's possible, because there are over 18,000 people who can provide. So what the strategy is just to get popularity. The strategy is to make people understand that I'm coming for change, and that being the next president of Cameroon, I'm not coming to work for a particular group of people. I'm coming to work for everybody, and that's why the other day I made a statement that in one of my policies is to give value to traditional institutions. Our traditional leaders today and guardians have been rendered paupers. How can a traditional leader, a third-class chief, be paid 50,000? How can a second-class chief be paid 100,000 and a first-class chief be paid 150,000? I said I'm going to increase that to 250, 400, 500,000, and people said, "No, are you not giving them money?" I said, "No, I am proposing what I want to do for them, and the people to whom sovereignty belongs to. If they buy the idea, they are the ones giving the money to the chief. It's not Asong Michael giving the money to the chief." So I think that Cameroonians should come to the realization that everything is not in the hands of the president. Power belongs to the people. It has been mentioned in section 2 of our constitution.
Barrister, lastly, before I get, I know I keep saying lastly. Sorry, gentlemen. I really want to apologize.
No, it's okay. We are listening.
Have you declared your asset, or do you look forward to declaring your asset?
Of course, I'm going to declare my assets. That's
before election.
Of course, it has to be declared. You cannot go in without declaring. So I'm a young guy. There's nothing to hide.
Dr. My fear is that when you give the salaries of funds to 500,000, they will become more loyal to you than the population.
No, that's not true, and that is why I'm explaining it. The issue is that many Cameroonians don't understand that they are the ones having the power, and that's why I say that power is coming back to the people. Sovereignty belongs to the people, and every Cameroonian must be conscious of that. Sovereignty does not lie in the hands of the president of the republic, and that is why I'm making sure that institutions should be strong. I'm going to tell the chiefs, you have the right to tell me whatever you want to tell me, because those who you are serving is the population and not me, Asong Michael, who is the president. So that's the new type of Cameroon I want to bring into place.
Okay, Engineer Dixon, you have been left out. You are the prophet of the panel. That's why I wanted you to observe more. Okay. So now, can an independent candidate pull the magic? Because many people seemingly don't want to identify themselves as political parties.
Yeah, I agree. The thing is that political parties for a long time have gradually lost the trust of Cameroonians, especially the one-time strong SDF that all Cameroon was behind. You see, there was a paradigm shift in 2018 where it was like more of the MRC came out with a new wave, and the momentum as well is going down. I think that there is a chance for an independent candidate, provided they fulfill the requirement of the constitution. But if I must say something, I think I've listened to Dr. Asong. It's the first time I'm listening to him this close. He's somebody I've always seen a news caption about him. I'm really looking forward that we'll have much to discuss after the program to really understand, because I am in a group, and one time when they wrote a very nice write-up about you, I asked one question: can I see his manifesto? And nobody could give that, so that a little bit was problematic. Try to make your manifesto accessible.
Yeah, just one second.
Yeah.
Earlier on said manifestos are only allowed 15 days before elections, according to section.
Even
87.
online, you can't share it.
No,
online.
you can't share, because the only period allowed is 15 days before elections. But now, if you ask me, what do you plan to do for health, I can give you an idea.
All right, so we're going to discuss that.
Barrister, what he's saying, based on you are trying to be highly respecting the law, because we have been seeing this manifesto from other parties, including the CBDN.
Yeah, of course, I'm going to respect the law.
What the common people want now is maybe you give them a roadmap. Yes, these are the first 10 things I intend to do. These are the
So before we come there, I will.
These are realities.
I only want
you have to respect the law.
Yeah, I only want to give this, that you stand a chance if you tackle 3 areas. Not only you, all those who want to get in as independent candidates. The first is community engagement, and I believe for you to tackle this, you need to recruit volunteers and train them on your ideas. Let them understand the vision, then they become your disciples in their various communities. And second pillar to me is effective communication and messaging, which you earlier highlighted. Your vision needs to be clear, your policies need to be clear, your social media presence needs to be felt, and your traditional media presence needs to be felt. And most importantly, the third pillar is the voters outreach. I think any independent candidate who wants to come in now must understand the demographics of the registered voters. So I wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
And like I said again, I admire your courage. Cameroonians are longing for change, irrespective of where the change is coming. We want to see a Cameroon that works. That's why I made mention of the fact that there should be a clear plan of your activities. Set your goals straight. Let your targets be clear. Let your actions be clear. And if Cameroonians can understand what you are coming for, I believe that we will give the support that we can give to whoever will make Cameroon work the way we want it to work, economically, militarily, national security wise, health wise, and all the other wise.
Briefly, let me just wait on this 2 minutes. Good day to you guys in the panel. I am a youth who need change. I'm watching from Kumba. I must say, Doctor is making a lot of sense. There, I would like to have his contact. A lot of people have been asking for this contact, and I've been sending some of the messages I've not read, but I've just been sending the contact. Now I've just maybe I'm temporarily Dr. Secretary for now, self-appointed for now. Yeah, so this is an appointment. This is an appointment at Docho Function. This one says, hello, greetings to you, please, the entire panel. Please, can we help to ask presidential candidate on board the name of his party, and also help to his number, if possible. He's going as an independent candidate. I've sent you the number. This one says, this is James White from Boya, sending more words of encouragement to our Dr. Asong. I am following this program. I must say I am impressed with it. I wish God grants you the wish for becoming or aiming to becoming our president. God bless you, sir. Amen. This is right. There are several messages. Unfortunately, I will be unable to read them. But let me just read this very important message from my brother and friend Max, who is in our program or common. He says, hello, Javis. The young man is smart. Kudos to him. If Bia does not participate in this election, he is my candidate. Greetings to the panel. I understand. No, it's not speedy. I understand what he's saying. Is that this is probably is believing that you know about people have been talking about electoral integrity and the rest. You understand? So yes, this one says, good afternoon, sir. The program is very interesting. Cameroon problem with voting is caused by our opposition candidates are usually active only in the year of election. After the election, they all join the leading party. Meanwhile, if it was displaced, move around the 10 region and call up the ruling party especially come to developmental, economical, how can they assure us of our vote? Will our vote not be stolen? How can they assure with their vote not be stolen? This is Aban writing from Bamenda, and then he ended by saying that please help me with doctor's contact. Let me take on the messages. Those of you who have sent us SMSs, so I should not say I've marginalized you. This one says, my name is Sue Michael. My name is Michael Smith. Good afternoon. I am happy seeing a youth going in for the upcoming presidential election. I am very interested to be one of his campaign here in Bamenda. Please, wow. I've seen some qualities in him which I believe he will change the face of this country. Please kindly send me his phone number so that I can contact him privately for more details. This is anyway, I'll send the numbers to you. Those of you who have been sending me messages on SMS, I'll send the message to you. This one says, good afternoon all. Evangelist Tebong Bertrand Fon from Kupe Maninguba, Bange subdivision. A Christian as Christ follower do not ever involve themselves in occultism, traditional things, and they work in the presidency, police, gendarme, because God cannot be worked with evil. So what you are saying is that, Mr. Asong, I love the way you talk. If it were so, there will be no war. There will be no war or killing. And Tebon writing, and maybe a message is that he should not get him because he's a Christian. But go and read Romans 13. I think it's Romans 13 that all
government leaders,
he did that made by God.
Made by God,
it takes a political decision to go to church. Why I say so, many people don't understand. It takes a political decision to go to church because if the environment is not peaceful, you will not get to church. You need politics to keep the peaceful environment. It takes a political decision to pray to God. Without you having a quiet environment, the people in Goma cannot be praying now because the mob is running. You need a political stability. It takes a political decision to eat. Because if you don't have good leaders, the farm to market road, market will be poor and insecurity. So everything centered on politics. That's why Desmond Tutu said we cannot dilute ourselves by singing Hallelujah, whereas our children are being killed. Yeah. So those of you saying that Christians should not be involved in politics. Good afternoon, everyone in the House of Commons watching. There's so many messages. I don't know if it's you. Okay, it's you. Yeah, last word. I know you're not expecting last word. I want to apologize to you guys for giving Doctor more of the time, and we needed. So thank you very much. Your last word.
Okay. We are only hoping that the doctor should actually implement what he.
Okay. So I just give 10 to 15 minutes because probably I've just been told that the other programs that was to Tell Life is not there because you needed to prepare.
Okay.
So
I have 5 minutes more.
So they've increased the time.
Just have 10 minutes maximum.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So can any dependent candidate like doctor pull the magic?
Yes, and the particular factor that can lead doctor to the supreme magistracy of the state is the population. Cameroonians in all walks of life, even those like my colleague who is sitting here of the CPDM, they need that dexterity, that flamboyant change in Cameroon. Everybody needs change, but then there is nobody who wants to gather and say, let the change be this. We have had a lot of people. Doctor is coming up. We have had other independent candidates who, by some chance, will join a particular opposition party or join